My name is Joie Lee, and I'm in support of wearing black on October 22nd for the National Day of Protest against police brutality.
I love the improvisational aspect of gardening, or that I approach to gardening, that maybe, you know, you could liken to jazz, probably. My garden is definitely a reflection of my personality, but not deliberately. It's just an extension of who I am. Well, here I had some carrots I was growing, but I don't know. I don't think they made it. My peas didn't make it. So here's some of Stilby.
Hello, welcome back to my channel, Diamond's Untitled Universe, DW for short, and today's our last day of our Black History Month uploads. I know we're in March right now, but call it getting our reparations. And the celebration isn't even over for me because we have moved into Women's History Month, so it's like double the fun. Anyway, today's video we will be doing entry number 6 of our Black History Month edition painting diaries, and last but not least, today we will be painting and talking about the beautiful, gorgeous Joie Lee. Now, I'll admit, like, when I first saw her picture, I knew who she was, but I didn't know who she was. Like, she looked familiar, but I was like, where do I know this lady from? What I did not know that she is Spike Lee's sister. Had no clue that he had a sister, but of course I've seen her in many movies like Crooklyn. My mom used to have me watch that all the time. Such a good movie. You should check it out. Mo Better Blues.
What? How so?
You nearly pissed in your pants when you saw me, especially since you invited Clark.
No, I didn't invite Clark. Anyway, I don't invite him.
And other Spike Lee productions, and I was like, I saw her reference come up on Pinterest and I was like, she's gorgeous. She had like this little mysterious vibe, and she was just like, her hair was giving, everything about her was giving. Low-key, Solange kind of reminds me of her a little bit in the face. I don't know really what it is, but anyway, I saw her, she popped up, and I was like, who the hell is she? Turns out I never knew Spike Lee had a sister, and I had watched her all of my life. So yeah, there's actually not that much on her that I can actually talk about because she doesn't have like a lot of information out there. Maybe that's how she wants it, but I saw a few interviews of her and she's completely a vibe. She's like so soft-spoken but also like so sure of herself, and I've seen a interview of like her in her home in Brooklyn with her little garden, and I'm like, I want to be her. I strive to be this woman. She's definitely someone who is more so behind the scenes nowadays. She does like a lot of writing and producing movies, and I love that she is very she seems like a person who truly loves to protect her peace and protect her art and her freedom, if that makes sense. So with that being said, today's video is really going to be about protecting your peace, protecting your art and your voice, and also finding rest before rest finds you. And I just feel like she's just one of those people that she's like, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. This is what I choose to use my art form. And it's just the privilege and the power of choice, and that's choosing ourselves and choosing to protect our peace in every sense of the word. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. Yeah. Alright, so let's get into it. This video feels like it's going to be a bit of a lengthy one. I think because this is the first time in this little series that I am starting from the very beginning of the painting process. So whatever, more room to, you know, talk and also talk about the painting process of this painting because it's one of my faves. I have to say, it's one of my favorites. So let's get into talking about the amazing, beautiful Joie Lee. Full name, Joie Susanna Lee. Now, she also says Joy is correct, but like, you know, if she says what her name is, I'm just gonna respect it. I'm gonna respect it. If that's what she goes by, I have to respect it. And there's not a lot on her, like I stated previously. You know, all we know is that she is an actress, screenwriter, producer, and director. And, you know, you can tell that she loves staying like behind the scenes. And I think part of that stems from who she is and who people compare her to, which would be Spike Lee, of course. When she first started out acting, a lot of people, you know, it was giving that she only was there because of nepotism, who she was connected to, who her brother was. And so a lot of people really didn't base her talent off of her own skill set. You know, they were like, oh well, can she actually act, or, you know, is it just because who her brother is? And I hate that, because evidently you see her in the movies and she's doing her thing, but with that, it's just she kind of went into the behind the scenes and kind of used her voice a lot differently. And I genuinely love that for her, because that is something that I too would do. Because what do I have to prove to y'all? You know what I mean? Like, what is that about? And from the interviews that I see of her, and it's very few, right? She's such a vibe. She really is such a vibe. And you can tell that she's really keen on protecting her peace. You know, I'm not going to let y'all all the way in. I'm going to give you the answers that you need to know. And that's what it is. Like, she's very surface level in a way, but her art, of course, it goes deeper than that. And she's one of those people that allows her art and her work to speak for itself. And she's just very, very, very soft spoken, like literally just in tone, very soft spoken. But she's so incredibly intelligent, and just like, I don't know, I just like really strive to be her. Like, I see her, I see what she's doing, I see how she's definitely a more so behind the scenes person. I see how she has that power of choice, and she chose to really make her own route, her own way, and protect her art, protect her voice in the best way that she could. And it's worked out for her, and I want to be that. I really want to be that. I really want to get to a place where I'm confident in my ability and what I do, and, you know, I can really confidently make the choices that are best for me when it comes to my art form. I'm not gonna lie, I've been struggling the last week trying to get this video out and things like, actually I've been struggling all last month. The whole month of February, it's just been rough. I've been trying to find that balance of, you know, protecting my peace and finding rest in between the chaos, if that makes sense. And it's not that actually I didn't know what to talk about in this specific video. It's just been, I'm a bit tired, guys. I'm a bit tired. So I've really been trying to lean into, you know, choosing rest, honestly, choosing to have grace for myself and take it easy, because I am moving into a new place in my life. Especially with making content and doing that consistently, and actually having ideas that I can bring to fruition and being very inspired. And, you know, I have this mindset that I want to do everything at the same time, and, you know, I get so excited and then I just like really tire myself out. So I'm really trying to learn a lot from my mistakes last year when I first started posting, and really also being intentional with the things that I want to say, the things that I want to put out, and how I really choose to use my art form and my voice. And I know that is a very common, what's the word? What is that word? It's a very common theme. There we go. It's a very common theme that I've been saying, not only in this video, but, you know, I started this channel trying to be like, okay, how do I make it intentional? How do I figure out, like, at the time it was my art style, and then it morphed into like, how am I using my voice, how am I, you know, doing all these things. And I will say at first, like, the idea of actually using my voice, not just even figuratively through my work, but really using my actual voice, the thing that I am kind of most insecure about, the most afraid of, you know, it was daunting in the beginning, and it's definitely been daunting last year, because I kind of had to face a part of myself that I did not know, you know, I was very insecure about. I've really been trying to face that part of myself head on, and it's a little bit chaotic, and I'm really trying my best to be like, okay, let me have grace for myself. I don't have to be perfect at everything. I do have to try. I don't think it's in me to not try my very best with what I have, but it's kind of just like I've been a bit overwhelmed, so I've been really leaning into things that bring me joy, things that bring me rest, and things that also inspire me, so I can come back and, you know, use my voice to my fullest capabilities. But in order for me to continue to get better, I really have to face the things that I find challenging. And like I said, that's exhausting. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And the crazy thing about this is, like, I never really saw myself being in any type of mainstream visibility. And I find that so odd. Like, I admire her for being able to take a step back, being behind the scenes, because that's low-key my dream. She's living my dream. But it's also is like, right now, that is not a place that I am meant to be right now. Visibility is necessary for the things that we have to achieve, for the recognition that we want in our respective fields to make an impact. And I'm not even saying that visibility is necessary when it comes to like on a huge platform, right? But in order for you to make an impact of some form, we have to let our voices be known, let us be in the spotlight, just for a little bit. And that's what she did, right? She was like, you know what, like, you could see, of course, with a lot of Spike Lee films, it's very based on Black culture, the ins and out of our culture. And it's, you know, Black culture is essentially political. So you knew exactly where she stood. You knew exactly the type of art that she wanted to make, the type of movies that she wanted to produce, just by not only her being adjacent to Spike Lee, but of how she chose to represent herself in her time of visibility. And then, you know, it got to the point where she could be like, okay, I have my connections, I have this, I have that, let me take a step back, you know what I mean? And I love that. So sometimes we do have to do that hard thing, the things that we don't want to do, the visibility and being known and pushing ourselves out there and marketing ourselves in a certain way, just so that we can, you know, kind of get that dream of like, okay, now I can take a step back, now I can teach, now I can, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if all that makes sense. I know I'm going on a lot of tangents in this video, but I don't know, she just makes me think of literally all of these things. Another thing that I've taken note of about her is that she's just very much so her own person. Like, how she represents herself visually, top tier, top freaking tier. And it's just made me think about like how I represent myself, and, you know, does my outside reflect my inside? And, you know, in ways it definitely does, but not to the fullest extent. Like, you look at her hair, it's very her. You look at her style and it's just like, yes, this makes sense, and nobody else can pull it off but her, because it's literally like that's who she is. And I just think about the individuality, and I'm like, dang, like, I'm really not out here expressing myself to the fullest extent of how I used to. I've been really afraid to express myself and my individuality, my style. And I recently just got my mantis piercings. And, you know, as you can see from my face, I have a lot of piercings. And I used to do that stuff on impulse. I used to wear a lot of color. I used to, you know, really experiment. And I realized that I don't do that anymore. I don't take pride in who I know that I am visually. I don't take pride in the things that I know that I like. I don't put effort towards those things. So recently I've definitely been taking a step back to like really look at the places that I'm lacking in my life. And you know, I'm working, I'm doing the thing, I'm painting nonstop and creating content full time now. But I do want to also not forget myself, not leave myself on the back burner. I want to rest. I want to enjoy my time. I want to enjoy tending to my plants. I want to enjoy putting myself together, doing my makeup, doing my hair, and just experimenting with living. I don't want to be just wrapped up in the serious things, like, you know, trying to make my family proud, trying to really make a statement with my art, trying to like I'm so sick of trying. I'm so sorry. I am so sick of just trying to do so many things. And I just recently I really had to take a step back and like grapple with the idea of, oh my gosh, I am not choosing rest for myself. I always think I have to be doing something. I always think I have to be doing something meaningful outwardly, and I don't even take care of myself. I don't protect my peace the way that I should. And how am I supposed to make an impact? How am I supposed to do all of these things if I don't focus on myself, focus on my health, focus on my mental, focus on my happiness and my joy? And you know, I know this, I said this before, this video is kind of like all over the place, but just from the things that I know of her, that's kind of how I feel. Like I'm stuck between protecting my peace and making myself known and making an impact. And it's just feels like I'm at war with myself a lot. That was a lot of word vomit, and I'm sorry, y'all. I had to get that off my chest, you know? I've been feeling a lot, and I haven't been able to stop and really focus in on really what my body's trying to tell me, what spirit is trying to tell me. You know, I just can't, I don't know, something about my thoughts, I can't get a handle on it. So, you know, this series and it's very therapeutic to me. Like it's very cathartic, you know, because I can really sit here and talk about what comes up. And it was a lot. I'm sorry. I'm clogged up right now. Yeah, so now that we are done with this series for Black History Month, I really enjoyed it. I really had the best time despite the stress that I felt like it brought. I was only stressed because this was new. A little insider, art-wise, creative-wise, I feel like even though I suffer from a lot of imposter syndrome, I'm always going to be confident that that is something that I get the hang of, that is something that I do well. Intellectual-wise, like, you know, really using my words, connecting my brain and my thoughts to my words, that was really a huge fear of mine that I had to really overcome. And I'm you know, I enjoyed my time. I can honestly say that doing this, it was kind of like a exposure therapy. It was very helpful to me, and you know, it helped me heal some parts of myself that I was really insecure about. And you know, I'm really at a space where it's like I'm just gonna make it happen regardless of how confident I don't feel. I just gotta do it, because who else is gonna do it? And if I don't try to do it now, it's never gonna get done, so I gotta get it done. And I don't know, this whole series, the painting, the portraits, I saw a lot of growth that I wanted to see, and it's made me more confident to like really do more things and really just push myself and trust myself even more. And yeah. Okay, so here we are, the finished product. I hate that you can't see a lot of the colors like you could when I took the videos and pictures outside, but I love this one. I know I said the Josephine Baker one was probably my favorite, but I think I said favorite.
I told that fib about you being made up, Marty.
I feel it was giving Chucky. I really wanted to be able to work with the heavy shadows that was in the reference photo, and I don't know, I just love it. I feel like it gives this like mysterious vibe, but it definitely fits her vibe, and I think I did a good job. I don't know, I like how I really interpreted the reference photo, and she's just a vibe. Like, I really am privileged to be able to capture just her essence, because she just is like, she's not a person of many words, but like, I don't know, her aura just like says it all. You know, do we get what I'm saying? I don't know, she's just top tier. All right, so that is our last Black History Month upload. I really enjoyed this little time, this little series. I enjoyed painting these women who I admire and learning more about them. And one thing that kind of stuck out to me is just that they are their art has a purpose, their art has a lot of substance, and they very much so reflect a lot of the times in their environments and the economy and the political views of their times. And I love that, and I feel like that's something that I can work on doing more, or just making more conscious decisions with my art on what to represent. You know, it makes me think about like, well, okay, what is my work representing? Who am I really representing? What is the story behind it? And so I don't know, I just thought that was like really cool, because one thing about it, you knew exactly the stories that they were telling and what they wanted to convey, and they were activists through and through. And I just feel like, yes, and of course they're Black women, so their very existence is political, as is mine. And I genuinely just, I don't know, it just made me
It take you that long to find it?
It does.
It's made me want to be more intentional with what I do. Yeah, I had a really good time. I had fun this month. I had fun. And that's what it's about. If you enjoyed this series, if you enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. Okay, please, please. You know, I'm not above begging. I'm not above begging, brother. I'm sorry. That's my true self coming out. I apologize. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I will see you in the next video. Okay. Bye.